Hey everyone, happy Friday. COVID week 18 update, so the 18th week of these sorts of updates. Talking about school reentry and then one other selfish, well, not other, just one perhaps selfish update from our end. All right, so in North Carolina this week, the governor finally gave guidance. So in North Carolina, it's kind of a hybrid between B or C. So A is not an option for schools across North Carolina. So B is the kind of hybrid approach with some balance of in-person instruction in terms of schools going back in the fall, as well as remote or distance learning. And then C, completely virtual as well. So school districts across the country school districts across the state have the option to choose that. So the school boards are becoming even more important. And so voting for school board is important when it's happening in your district. But nonetheless, the current school boards will be making that decision across the state about which option, B, C, or somewhere in between, is the best for their students, families, and educators in North Carolina. So that's at the state level. In Charlotte, that decision was already made on Wednesday. So the governor's announcement happened this Tuesday. CMS school board convened and made a decision on Wednesday and essentially said they're kind of doing a hybrid between B and C. I think they called it B plus, which, interesting name. But nonetheless, they're going to do about the first week or 2 weeks on a rotating schedule of students so they can meet their teachers, collect resources and technology, and then for the foreseeable future, likely the first semester will be all remote. As you all probably know and can imagine, was received with mixed results, if you will. Some pros, some cons. I think our take is this. One is that based upon the data, the health data probably makes sense. Have seen a number of different conflicting reports around if students can contract or get COVID or pass it to others. So maybe the jury's still out there. I'm not a doctor. So don't take my word for it or our teams based upon what we've talked about. But regardless of that, it seems pretty apparent from all the data that adults are obviously giving it to each other. And so a lot of teachers, regardless of their age, either some in the older demographic could be in jeopardy if schools go back in full force. So nonetheless, seems like is best of a decision as Charlotte could make, and a lot of other school districts in North Carolina and across the state are making a similar one as well. So with all that being said, now what we'd encourage everybody to do is to continue communicating this with families, continue asking families for feedback, and help school districts plan to move this work forward, number 2. And then 3, similar to what we talked about, I think in a few updates ago, weekly updates, is begin to practice. And so ask families to come in, ask teachers to come in to volunteer, begin practicing building virtual lessons, begin practicing executing virtual lessons and the schedules that will happen. Practice these, roll it out, prototype it now, even though schools are opening in the next 3 or 4 weeks in North Carolina. This kind of iterative process, if you will, practicing it with stakeholders, the students, the teachers, the families, will just open up a lot of eyes and understanding about what's working and what's not. So the decision has been made. Now it's just about perfecting it and doing the best we can to get the resources into families and students' hands and to practice to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible. But between now and the first day of school, no excuses for not going well, knowing the guidance that we have now from the state. So that's bucket 1 around school reentry. Bucket 2, some of you may have seen this, but we released the full video from this year's work around district charter collaboration focused on family empowerment. We released that on Wednesday. It's getting a lot of good love on social media. So thank you if you are some of the stakeholders, friends, followers, family that have given us love and shared or liked the video. And if you have not, please go check it out. We'll link it into the show notes or the post wherever you're finding this update. But it's on all of our social media platforms. Think the video team we work with, the Bruckner Group, Eric Bruckner, did a great job. And so shout out to Eric and his team. Shout out to the schools and all the supporters that made this work happen. But this is essentially the 3rd year of the initiative. focus on building district charter collaboration, but also how these two schools can work really closely and co-create solutions with families, which, as you all know, is now more important than ever given the COVID situation. So we're really excited about the video. Thank you so much for the support. And if you haven't, please take a moment to go check it out and maybe tell a few friends if you feel convicted to do so. We hope you had a good week. We'll see you next week for the weekly update and talk to you guys soon.